Let's be honest, there are days you look in the mirror and just don't see it. You second-guess your appearance, compare yourself to others, and wonder if anyone even notices you in a room full of people. But what if I told you they do? And not just because of how you look, but because of something much deeper, something you might not even realize you're radiating. The truth is, being attractive isn't always loud or obvious. In fact, the most magnetic women are often the ones who don't see it themselves. They move through life doubting, overthinking, downplaying their presence, while the world around them feels quietly moved by them. You see, real attraction isn't just about perfect makeup or the right body type. It's about energy, presence, and the subtle ways you impact people without trying. And chances are, you're doing it right now. In this video, we're breaking down 12 surprisingly powerful signs that you are far more attractive than you think. Some of them are so subtle, you've probably dismissed them. But once you recognize these signs, you'll never see yourself the same way again. Let's start. You might not have realized it in the moment. Maybe you casually mentioned your favorite tea, your childhood pet's name, or that one book you've read a dozen times, and then, days, maybe weeks later, he brings it up, not in a dramatic way, but woven naturally into conversation. Or better yet, he shows up holding that exact tea without saying a word. That's not a coincidence. That's captivation. When a man is truly drawn to you, it's not just your appearance that holds his attention. It's the essence of you, your preferences, your quirks, the way you talk about the little things. These aren't just facts to him, they're tokens, pieces of a quiet fascination he doesn't always know how to express directly, so he does it through remembrance. This kind of attention doesn't come from obligation, it comes from emotion. The smallest details become anchors in his mind because your presence turned a simple moment into something that lingers. You didn't need to impress him or compete for space in his memory. You were just being you, and that was enough. So if you ever feel invisible or wonder whether someone sees the real you, remember this. When a man starts noticing and remembering things you barely remember saying, it's not just interest, it's reverence. It's the kind of soft, unspoken admiration that says, you matter more than you know. Have you ever started talking about something totally ordinary, maybe a movie, a random memory, or what you had for lunch? And suddenly, the conversation shifts. He's telling you about his childhood, his fears, his dreams, and you're sitting there, surprised by the weight of what he's sharing, even though you never asked for it. This isn't random. It's not just that he feels talkative. It's you. There's something about your energy that disarms people, especially men. It's calm. It's grounded. It's real. And in a world where most conversations skim the surface, your presence feels like an invitation to go deeper. Men often carry stories, emotions, and questions they rarely voice, not because they don't want to, but because they don't feel safe to. But then you come along, and something changes. He starts saying things like, I've never told anyone this before, or I don't know why I'm telling you this, but that's because your energy doesn't judge. It listens. And in that space, even the most guarded men find themselves opening doors they usually keep locked. So if your conversations seem to take unexpected turns, if people share their truth with you without being prompted, don't brush it off. That's a reflection of your emotional gravity. You're not just someone to talk to, you're someone people talk through. And in a world full of noise, that's a rare and powerful gift. You cross your legs, and seconds later, so does he. You tilt your head, and his follows. Your voice softens, and suddenly his does too. At first, you might think it's a coincidence, but it's not. It's something far deeper, a silent echo of fascination. When a man is genuinely captivated by you, his body responds before his mind even catches up. This is called mirroring, a subconscious way we connect with someone we're drawn to. It's not imitation, it's instinct. His nervous system is literally aligning with yours because your presence makes him want to feel in sync. You might notice him adopting your slang, laughing like you, or even texting in a rhythm that mirrors your own. And again, it's not forced. He doesn't even realize he's doing it. That's what makes it so sincere. This kind of behavior isn't something that happens around just anyone. It's reserved for people who make us feel safe, seen, and inspired. People who awaken something magnetic without saying a word. So next time you catch someone adjusting their body language, speech, or energy to match yours, don't dismiss it. That's a quiet confession. A man's way of saying, I want to meet you where you are. Not with big words, but with small, involuntary movements that reveal what his heart already knows. You're not just being noticed, you're being mirrored, and that speaks volumes. You didn't ask, you didn't look helpless, yet someone steps in, holding the door, offering their seat, helping you with your bag. It's not because you appear incapable. It's because something about your presence naturally draws support. When you carry a certain calm confidence, a grounded femininity, or simply a powerful stillness, people instinctively respond to it. Without knowing why, they feel compelled to help, to serve, to show up for you in small ways. It's not about submission or pity, it's about recognition. On a subconscious level, they sense your worth. This quiet influence often surprises you because you're not trying to control a room. In fact, you may even feel like you're just minding your business. But that's the beauty of it. Your energy doesn't need to be loud to be felt. It doesn't need to command. It simply commands respect without asking. And it's not just men. Women feel it too. Sometimes strangers smile, step aside, or make space. They don't know why they do it, but something in you, your grace, your poise, your silent magnetism, leaves an impression. So if you've ever wondered why people go out of their way to help you when you never asked for it, here's your answer. Your energy speaks volumes before you ever open your mouth. You are not invisible. In fact, your presence quietly shifts the room. And those small gestures? They're the world's way of reflecting back the quiet power you carry every day. You're mid-thought, sharing something simple or profound, and suddenly he cuts in. Not to dismiss you, not to argue, but to add, to agree, to share his piece before the moment slips away. At first, it might feel like mild rudeness, but if you look closer, you'll see something else: eagerness. When a man is genuinely drawn to you, he doesn't just want to listen, he wants to join in. Your presence sparks something in him: curiosity, enthusiasm, the urge to engage. That soft interruption is often his way of saying, I'm captivated, don't stop. He's not trying to steal the spotlight. He's trying to orbit around yours. When you speak, your words don't just land, they ignite. And sometimes the response comes so quickly he doesn't even realize he's jumping in. It's not about control, it's about connection. You create a space that feels alive. Your ideas, your voice, your energy invite interaction. And men, especially those drawn to your vibe, don't just want to hear your story. They want to be part of it. That little interruption, that's fascination bubbling to the surface. So instead of brushing it off as impolite, see it for what it is: a sign that you've activated something in him, a desire to align, to resonate, to connect with you in real time. When your presence makes someone forget their social filters, that's not annoyance, that's quiet magnetism in motion. You walked into the room just being yourself, no intention to flirt, no attempt to attract. And yet suddenly, two men who were once casually chatting begin to shift. One starts speaking louder, trying to be funnier. The other stands a little straighter, makes more eye contact. It's subtle at first, but unmistakable. Something changed. You changed it. What you're witnessing isn't arrogance, it's instinct. When a woman with magnetic energy enters a space, she doesn't chase attention, she changes the energy within it. Without trying, you become the unspoken center, the X factor, the one who makes men unconsciously evaluate their place in the room. You didn't provoke it. You simply showed up in your natural state, radiant, grounded, and fully in your own energy. But for men, that kind of presence sets off something primal. Suddenly, the stakes feel higher. There's someone here worth impressing, worth standing out for. It's not about creating drama. It's about the fact that your presence raises the bar. You turn casual environments into arenas of subtle competition because men feel something rare around you, value. So if you ever feel puzzled when men act differently around you, one-upping each other, seeking your attention, or shifting their behavior, know this: it's not your imagination, it's your influence. And while you may not always see yourself as a catalyst, your energy often speaks louder than you ever intend. You don't ask for the spotlight. It finds you, every time. It may sound strange. How can someone make people feel calmer and more alive at the same time? But if you've ever noticed that people seem more centered when they're with you, or more energized and expressive, it's no coincidence. That's the effect of magnetic energy. and you have it. For some, your presence is like a deep exhale. You radiate peace. Without saying much, you bring a steady energy that makes people feel safe, grounded, understood. They relax around you. Their guard comes down. Even their breathing slows. Why? Because your authenticity gives permission for others to be real too. For others, it's the opposite. But just as powerful, your energy activates them. Suddenly, they're more animated, more creative, more themselves. You ignite something they didn't even know was waiting to come out. You don't force it, you simply bring it out by existing as you are. And here's the beautiful part. Both effects are signs of attraction, not just romantic, but soul-level resonance. People don't always understand why they feel different around you, but they do. And whether they feel soothed or sparked, the result is the same. They want to feel it again. You leave an energetic imprint. Your presence shifts the emotional temperature of a room, not by trying, just by being. So if people linger in your company or light up in your presence, know this: you're not too much or too quiet. You're a rare balance of calm and current, and it's unforgettable. It's your first real conversation. You barely know each other, and then, suddenly, he's telling you about his past, his fears, his heartbreaks. You're left wondering, why is he telling me all this? But here's the truth. It's not random. It's you. You are what we call an emotional portal, someone whose energy makes others feel safe enough to be vulnerable without even understanding why. Men, especially, are often taught to withhold emotion, to stay guarded. But around you, something shifts. Their armor starts to fall off, their walls lower, and the truth begins to pour out. You don't have to pry. You don't have to ask deep questions. Just your presence, your calm, grounded, empathetic energy creates a space where people feel like they can finally exhale. You're not judging, you're not rushing, and they feel that. That kind of openness doesn't happen often. In fact, it's incredibly rare. Most people go months or even years without ever feeling that seen, that heard, that understood. But with you, it happens in minutes. That's not a coincidence. That's emotional magnetism. So when someone starts sharing their truth with you unprompted, don't second guess it. Don't wonder if you're too available or too open. You're simply offering what most people crave but rarely find: a place to land, even if just for a moment. You're not just a good listener, you're a sanctuary, and people feel it instantly. You say something mildly sarcastic or casually witty, and suddenly he's laughing like he's front row at a comedy show. You chuckle at a small moment, and he laughs with you, even if he didn't quite catch the joke. What's happening here isn't about punchlines, it's about presence. When a man is deeply drawn to you, your energy amplifies everything. Your smile makes his day lighter. Your voice feels like a song he didn't know he loved. So even your driest humor, your simplest observation feels golden to him. He's not just laughing because it's funny. He's laughing because you make him feel good, and he wants more of that. This joy isn't fake. It's a real, unconscious reaction to your vibe. Around you, his guard drops. He's more playful, more expressive. He might laugh at his own jokes more when you're there, hoping you'll join him, or he laughs at your quirks just to signal, "I like being in your world." And the truth is, laughter is a form of connection. When a man laughs around you, more often, more easily, it's a sign that your presence brings lightness to his life. You're not just interesting, you're uplifting, and that matters more than you know. So if men seem a little more giddy, a little more animated when they're with you, don't brush it off. That laughter, it's their way of saying, you make everything feel better. You catch his gaze. It lingers, just a moment too long. There's a stillness, a pull, and then, just as quickly, he looks away, not with disinterest, but almost like he's been caught off guard. That wasn't boredom, that was impact. When a man is truly captivated by you, your eye contact doesn't feel casual, it feels charged. It's a silent exchange of energy, of curiosity, of attraction he's not fully prepared for. Your gaze reaches a place deeper than just the surface. It's not about beauty, it's about presence, and sometimes that's overwhelming. He may look down, pretend to check his phone, or shift his body just to break the intensity, not because he's not interested, but because in that moment he felt too much. That flicker of connection stirred something real, something raw, and real attraction often comes with a kind of vulnerability we don't always know how to handle. So if you've ever noticed a man locking eyes with you, then breaking it just as suddenly. Don't assume he's indifferent. More often than not, he's intrigued, disarmed, and maybe even a little intimidated. Your eye contact doesn't just see, it reveals, it challenges, invites, and exposes things most people keep hidden. And that kind of gaze, it's unforgettable. When your eyes speak louder than words, know this: you're not just being looked at, you're being felt. And that silent reaction, that's the proof. You notice it slowly. A friend starts using one of your signature phrases. Someone at work suddenly shows up in an outfit that looks strangely like something you wore last week. It's subtle, unspoken, but unmistakable. You didn't ask for attention, you didn't even try, and yet your energy is spreading. When people begin to emulate you, your style, your expressions, your vibe, it's one of the clearest signs that you've become a reference point, a silent influence. You've left a mark so effortlessly that others begin to mold themselves around it. This isn't vanity, it's resonance. People don't copy what doesn't move them, they mirror what they admire, often without realizing it. Your confidence, your flair, your ability to be unapologetically yourself, it awakens something in them. And through imitation, they're trying to touch a piece of the light they see in you. You don't need a platform to be powerful. You don't need a spotlight to be seen. Sometimes your mere presence, how you walk, speak, or express yourself, inspires change quietly. So the next time someone repeats something you've said, adopts your fashion choices, or starts moving through the world a little more like you, take a breath, smile, because it means you're not just being noticed, you're being remembered, admired, and absorbed into the lives of those around you. You've become a muse without even meaning to. And that kind of influence, it can't be faked. It can only be felt. He's in a completely different setting, talking to someone else about something that doesn't even involve you, and suddenly your name comes up. Yeah, she actually said something like that once. Or maybe he casually drops, "You kind of remind me of her." That's not a coincidence. That's impact. When a man brings you up in conversations that have nothing to do with you, it's a sign that you've taken up residence in his thoughts. You've carved out space in his memory, not with drama or noise, but through quiet resonance. Something you said, the way you carry yourself, or simply your presence has stuck with him. You're not just passing through his mind, you're looping. You're the comparison point, the thought he returns to when something reminds him of depth, beauty, or clarity. He doesn't realize he's doing it half the time, but that's what makes it powerful. It's unconscious. It means you've made a genuine emotional imprint. It could be the way you see the world, a phrase you always say, the energy you carry. Whatever it is, it lingers. So if you hear from others that he's brought you up, or if he casually references you in ways that seem out of the blue, don't brush it off. You're not just remembered, you're being woven into his narrative. And when you're living in someone's words without even being present, that's not just attention, that's reverence. So now you know, being attractive isn't always about what you see in the mirror, it's about what others feel when they're around you. Your presence, your energy, your unspoken confidence. It leaves an impression, even when you doubt yourself. If even one of these 12 signs sounded familiar, it's not a fluke. It's time you stop questioning your worth and start recognizing the quiet power you carry every single day. Now I want to hear from you. Comment below and tell me, which of these signs have you noticed in your own life? Maybe someone remembered a tiny detail about you. Maybe people confide in you without knowing why. Or maybe, just maybe, you've started to feel the shift yourself. Your story might help someone else realize their own beauty. So don't hold back. If this video made you see yourself a little differently, do me a favor, like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell because we're just getting started. Around here, we're not chasing superficial beauty. We're uncovering the kind that changes rooms without saying a word. Thank you for watching, and remember, you're not just attractive, you're unforgettable.